I stared at my graduation gown hanging on my closet door, the culmination of 4 years of hard work, late nights, and endless sacrifices. Tomorrow was supposed to be my moment, walking across that stage at Stanford University, magna cum laude in business administration. Instead, my sister Amanda stood in my bedroom doorway, her designer purse swinging carelessly as she dropped her bombshell. "Look, Emma, it's simple," she said, checking her manicure. "Mark and I already paid $12,000 for this luxury cruise. Non-refundable. We can't take the twins with us and our regular nanny is on vacation." I turned to face her, still processing what she was asking. "Amanda, it's my graduation. My college graduation." She rolled her eyes. "Please, it's just walking across the stage. You can watch the video later. The twins are more important." The twins. 6-year-old Sophie and Lucas. My niece and nephew who I'd been forced to babysit countless times because their mother thought her social life was more important than anything else. "I've already promised tickets to my friends," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Professor Martinez is expecting me at the honors ceremony." "Well, unpromise them," Amanda snapped. "Mom and Dad already agreed it's the best solution. They're coming on the cruise too." That hit me like a punch to the gut. "What? Oh, didn't they tell you? Mark got a great deal on a family package. 4 adults, 7 days in the Caribbean. They're so excited." I sat down on my bed, my hands trembling slightly. My parents knew. They knew, and they'd chosen Amanda's cruise over my graduation. Just like they'd chosen her wedding over my high school graduation 3 years ago. Just like they'd chosen her baby shower over my academic awards ceremony. "The twins love you," Amanda continued, mistaking my silence for acceptance. "It'll be fine. We'll bring you a souvenir." I looked at my desk where my graduation speech lay neatly printed. As class representative, I was supposed to speak tomorrow. I'd worked on that speech for weeks, hoping that finally my family would see what I'd achieved. "When do you leave?" I asked quietly. "Tonight at 8. Our flight's at 11. Amanda dropped a house key on my desk. "There's food in the fridge. Oh, and Lucas has a science project due Monday. You'll need to help him with that." She turned to leave, then paused. "Emma, thanks for understanding. You're the best sister ever." As her footsteps faded down the hall, I pulled out my phone and Googled cruise cancellation policy. What I found made me smile for the first time since Amanda walked in. The cruise line had a strict policy about cancellations, but modifications could be made up to 4 hours before departure. And as a business student who'd interned at a travel agency, I knew exactly how their system worked. I waited until I heard Amanda's car pull away, then I made 3 calls. The first was to my best friend Kate, who lived in a small apartment downtown. The second was to the cruise line. And the third was to Professor Martinez, explaining that I would absolutely be at graduation tomorrow. Then I started packing. Not overnight clothes for Amanda's house, but everything I owned. 4 years of being the family doormat, of watching my parents dismiss my achievements while praising Amanda's every breath, had finally pushed me too far. I wrote a note and left it on my perfectly made bed. "Dear family, I won't be watching the twins. I won't be missing my graduation. And you won't be going on your cruise. I just canceled your reservation. The $12,000 is now in processing for a refund, which should take 7 to 10 business days. Enjoy explaining to Mark why you're not at the airport tonight. Love, Emma." Next time, try asking instead of demanding. I took one last look at my childhood room, then grabbed my graduation gown and closed the door. Kate was waiting outside in her beat-up Honda, ready to help me move into her spare room. "You sure about this?" she asked as I loaded my bags into her car. I looked back at the house where I'd spent 22 years being second best. Never been more sure of anything. My phone started ringing, Amanda's number. I declined the call and turned off my phone. Tomorrow I would walk across that stage and give my speech. And for the first time, I wouldn't be looking for my family's approval in the audience. I had finally chosen myself. The chaos unfolded exactly as I'd expected. By 7:30 p.m., my phone had exploded with messages and missed calls. I turned it back on briefly at Kate's apartment, watching the notifications flood in. "Amanda, 6 missed calls. What did you do? The reservation is gone." "Mom, 4 missed calls. Emma, fix this right now." "Dad, 2 missed calls. You're being incredibly selfish." "Mark, 1 missed call. Do you know how much this cost us?" But the most satisfying message came from the cruise line. Reservation number 247893 has been successfully cancelled. Refund processing. Kate handed me a cup of tea as I scrolled through the messages. They still don't get it, do they? Never have, never will, I replied, settling onto her couch. Did you know they didn't even come to my college acceptance celebration? Amanda's dog was having puppies that day. My phone buzzed again, a text from Sophie using Amanda's phone. Auntie Emma, Mommy is crying and saying bad words. Are you coming to watch us? That one stung a little. I loved those kids despite their parents' behavior. But I couldn't keep sacrificing my life for my sister's convenience. You should see what's trending on the family Facebook group, Kate said, showing me her phone. Amanda had posted a long rant about ungrateful sisters and ruined vacations. Below it, our cousin Sarah, who'd always seen through Amanda's act, had commented, "Maybe if you'd asked nicely instead of demanding and hadn't scheduled a cruise during your sister's graduation." The post had turned into a family war zone with relatives taking sides. Years of resentment about Amanda's entitled behavior were finally surfacing. Around midnight, my mother tried a different approach. "Sweetie, we understand you're upset. But think about the twins. They're crying for their aunt. Just come watch them for the week and we can talk about your graduation when we get back." I typed out a response. "Actually, I'll be busy tomorrow. I have a graduation speech to give. You remember, the one where I'm representing my entire class? The honor you didn't think was worth canceling a cruise for?" Then I deleted it without sending. They didn't deserve an explanation. Instead, I focused on reviewing my graduation speech. But looking at the words now, I realized they needed changing. I'd written it trying to make my family proud. Now I would write it for myself. At 2 a.m., my father sent what he probably thought was his trump card. "If you don't fix this right now, don't expect any more help with your student loans." I laughed out loud, startling Kate, who'd fallen asleep watching TV. "What's funny?" she asked sleepily. "Dad trying to threaten me with student loans." I showed her the message. "He doesn't know I got a full scholarship. They never bothered to ask." "What about your job offer?" Kate asked. "The one in New York?" I smiled, thinking about the consulting firm contract sitting in my email inbox. The one I hadn't told my family about because Amanda had announced her cruise plans at Sunday dinner before I could share my news. "Flights booked for next week," I said. "Corner office with a view of Central Park." Kate hugged me. "Look at you, all grown up and standing up for yourself." Around 3 a.m., exhausted from the drama but feeling lighter than I had in years, I finally went to bed. Tomorrow would be a big day, my day. And as I drifted off to sleep, I realized something. The hardest part wasn't standing up to my family. The hardest part was realizing I should have done it years ago. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from Professor Martinez. "Your family may not understand what you've achieved, Emma. But tomorrow everyone else will." I smiled and turned off my phone. Tomorrow couldn't come fast enough. Graduation day dawned bright and clear. As I stood in my cap and gown, adjusting my honors cords in the mirror, I felt none of the anxiety I'd expected. Instead, there was a strange sense of peace. "Your family's here," Kate whispered, peeking through the curtains of the staging area. "All of them. Even the twins." I nodded, not surprised. Amanda never could resist making a scene. Through the curtain, I could see them, my parents looking exhausted, Amanda in oversized sunglasses probably hiding red eyes, Mark trying to control the twins who were running between rows of chairs. "They're sitting in the back," Kate continued. "Your reserved front row seats are still empty." I smiled. "Not for long." Did they arrive? Right on cue, my phone buzzed with a message. "We're here, sweetheart. Front row, just like you asked." They were the people who'd actually supported me through college: Mrs. Chin, my high school counselor who helped me apply for scholarships when my parents were too busy with Amanda's wedding planning; Mr. Rodriguez, my first boss who gave me flexible hours so I could maintain my GPA; and Sarah, my cousin who'd transferred her own bonus points so I could afford textbooks sophomore year. These were my real family. As the ceremony began, I took my place on stage with the other honors students. My revised speech felt heavy in my hands, not with pressure but with promise. The dean's introduction seemed to fly by, and suddenly I was standing at the podium, looking out over a sea of faces. My biological family sat stiffly in the back, but my chosen family beamed from the front row. 4 years ago, I began, I thought success meant earning someone else's approval. Today I stand here knowing that true success is approving of yourself. I saw my mother shift uncomfortably. We're taught that family means sacrificing everything, even our own dreams. But real family lifts you up, supports your goals, and celebrates your achievements. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is redefine what family means to us. Amanda removed her sunglasses, her makeup clearly smeared. Today isn't just about degrees. It's about claiming our worth. About understanding that we don't need permission to prioritize our own lives. Success isn't measured by how much we give up for others, but by how true we stay to ourselves. In the front row, Mrs. Chen wiped away tears. After the ceremony, while other graduates hugged their families, I posed for photos with my chosen family. That's when Amanda approached, the twins clinging to her hands. "Your speech," she said quietly. "It was about us, wasn't it?" "No," I replied, "it was about me." She swallowed hard. "The cruise deposit. It was refunded this morning." "I know. I got the confirmation email." "Emma," my mother interjected, stepping forward. "Surely we can fix this. You're making a big deal out of nothing." I turned to her, feeling surprisingly calm. "Actually, I have an announcement. I've accepted a position with Goldman Davis Consulting, New York. I start next week." The silence was deafening. "New York," my father sputtered. "But who will help with the twins? And Amanda's new business venture?" "I'm sure you'll figure it out," I said, picking up my diploma. "Just like I figured out how to graduate with honors without any of you noticing." The twins broke free from Amanda and ran to hug me. "Auntie Emma, are you leaving?" I knelt down to their level. "I am, but I'll video chat every week. And unlike some people, when I make a promise, I keep it." As I stood up, Kate appeared with my suitcase. "Car's ready. We should head to the airport if you want to make your apartment viewing." My mother's eyes widened. "Airport? You're leaving now?" "My flight's in 3 hours," I said. "I'd have told you sooner, but you were all too busy planning your cruise." I hugged my chosen family goodbye, promising to stay in touch. As I turned to leave, Amanda grabbed my arm. "Wait," she said, her voice cracking. I'm sorry." I gently removed her hand. "I know. But sometimes sorry isn't enough." Walking away from them, diploma in hand and New York ahead of me, I finally understood something. The greatest graduation gift I'd given myself wasn't the cancelled cruise or the perfectly timed revenge. It was the knowledge that I would never let anyone make me feel small again. 1 year later, I sat in my corner office overlooking Central Park, reviewing quarterly reports when a familiar name popped up in my email. Amanda Williams, subject, "Please read." My finger hovered over the delete button, but curiosity won. The past year had been transformative. I'd been promoted twice at Goldman Davis, bought my own apartment, and even started dating James, a fellow consultant who valued ambition as much as I did. I opened the email. "Dear Emma, the twins' graduation from elementary school is next month. They've been asking about you. I know I don't deserve any favors, but they're performing in the ceremony and, well, you always were their favorite aunt. The only aunt who actually paid attention to them. Things have changed here. Mark and I divorced 3 months ago. Turns out he was just as selfish as I was. Mom and Dad are still Mom and Dad, but your graduation speech shook them more than they'll admit. I started therapy. Turns out being the golden child messed me up pretty badly. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm just asking for a chance to show you that people can change. Love, Amanda. P.S. I saw your feature in Business Weekly. Youngest senior consultant in Goldman Davis history. I'm proud of you even though I have no right to be." I leaned back in my chair, memories flooding back. The last year hadn't been entirely peaceful. My parents had tried multiple times to guilt me into coming home, especially after Amanda's divorce. But each time I'd stood firm. My phone buzzed, a text from Mrs. Chen. "Saw who's applying for our scholarship program. Interesting timing." Attached was a photo of a scholarship application. Sophie Williams, my niece, age 7. The essay question asked about role models. Sophie had written, "My Aunt Emma taught me that it's okay to say no when people aren't nice to you. She lives in New York now and helps big companies. When I grow up, I want to be strong like her." Tears pricked at my eyes. Another email notification popped up, the twins' school program. They were performing a tribute to our heroes. Sophie was playing a businesswoman. Lucas was playing a judge. My assistant knocked on my door. Ms. Richardson? Your 2 p.m. is here. Also, there's a decision needed on the new mentorship program you proposed. I smiled, an idea forming. Sarah, clear my schedule for next month's second week. And get me 2 things. Plane tickets to California and information about starting a scholarship fund for young girls interested in business. Of course, she paused. Should I include the usual hotel booking? No, I said, starting to type a reply to Amanda. I think it's time to show the next generation what real family support looks like. To Amanda Williams. Subject, please read. Dear Amanda. The twins' performance is June 15th, right? Save me 3 front row seats. 1 for me, 1 for Mrs. Chin, and 1 for a surprise guest. I'm starting a scholarship fund. Sophie's essay made me realize something. Sometimes the best revenge isn't walking away. It's coming back stronger and breaking the cycle. See you next month. Emma. Please tell Sophie her aunt's pretty proud of her too. As I hit send, I realized that true success isn't just about proving others wrong. Sometimes, it's about being strong enough to give others a chance to prove themselves right. And maybe, just maybe, that's the greatest power move of all.